Why do I love the small block Ford? Well, first, it was in some of my favorite cars, Shelbys, Cobras, and others. The sound, especially with a non-stock exhaust, is unmistakable. They are torquey. The throttle response is instant. There's nothing like a Ford V8 to get your blood boiling. So, before we get into a lot more detail, let's talk about the tires it would take to get all that small block Ford power to the ground. So talking about tires brings us to our sponsor for this video, and that is Tire Rack. Tire Rack has been there ever since I've been in the business, which is 40 years. I always get our tires from Tire Rack. They've got tires for anything from your vintage MG to your F350 pickup to tow your MG. So we joke that we put the order in and then go out to the curb and the tires are there already. It seems that fast. So I'd highly recommend, if you're in the market for tires, wheels, they also have shocks, brake pads, all kinds of other performance parts, TireRack.com. All right, back to small block Fords. They started in 1962 as a kind of a replacement for the Y block of the 50s. And it was a new thin wall casting method. It made for a lighter, more compact engine, and it started as a 221 cubic inch. That quickly grew to a 260. They put these in 63 Falcons. The Sprint came out and it had the option of a 260 V8, which made a quick little car. And of course, when the Mustang came out in April of '64, the optional engine was the 260 V8. Now by that fall, they had punched the engine out further to 289 cubic inches, and that's the legendary engine that powered the Cobras and the Shelbys to all the championships. They had what was called the Hypo 289. It had 271 horsepower, or rated at 306 if it was in a Shelby, because it had a different carburetor and headers. This was a phenomenal power plant. They were bulletproof. The distributor was in the front, unlike the small block Chevy, which made it a lot easier to stuff into a hot rod. In 1968, Ford increased the displacement of the 289 to 302 cubic inches. They put this engine in the Mustang. Now, oddly, on a Mustang in '68, you could have either a 289 or a 302. So there's no wrong answer to which engine's in your '68 Mustang. Then the next year, they came out with the 351. Which gave the engine better breathing and a little bit more cubic displacement. As we said, the small block Ford was created in about '62, and it still was in use up into the '90s as the 5-liter, which powered so many Fox-bodied Mustangs, as well as police cruisers and other cars used this engine. The biggest difference in these later 302s or 5 liters or small blocks was they eventually became fuel injected in about 1987. So in our Mustang race car, we're running a 302, but we're running better heads, but they're still cast iron heads. It meets the HSR rulebook, and we've got about 379 horsepower out of that engine. So these are very robust engines. If you go to an aftermarket like an aluminum head, you can get even more power. You easily can get up to about 500 horsepower from a small block Ford. The one weakness on these engines was the head design. So companies like Edelbrock have perfected the heads. They offer aftermarket aluminum heads, and they easily boost horsepower by 100 and 150. So it's more than a 60-year-old design, so things have improved since then. But bigger valves, better flow, has improved these engines. What I like best about a small block Ford is that howl, that noise. I mean, everybody's got an engine they like, whether it's Ferrari, Porsche. For me, there's nothing sounds like a small block Ford. Of course, what probably made this engine truly famous is it is the engine that came in a small block Cobra. Most people don't know that it was originally the 260 cubic inch. The 289 was not available yet for about the first 100 cars, but that famous 289 Cobra really developed the engine's reputation. And of course, it also was in the early Shelby Mustangs. Until '67, it was the only engine you could get. And again, legendary performance. The stories go on forever. They won championships. They swapped the engines out of rental cars, Hertz rental cars, and used them on the drag strip. But it's just an amazing power plant. So yeah, the 289 is the legend. It's my favorite. I'd love to hear your comments as to what you like about the small block Ford or what your favorite engine is. And if you like this sort of stuff, please like and subscribe to our channel and check out our website, classicmotorsports.com. We're always talking about this sort of stuff.
Support brands that support Classic Motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.